First movie rolling, Harrison Ford is dying and dancing in the latest Indiana Jones movie looked tired and lethargic. But surprisingly, his second worst movie role comes in a movie from 1990 where 34 years ago placed the prosecutor Rusty Sabich that is framed in a smear campaign. Here at a younger age, around in the 50s, you still feel that he of course does not act as bad as he does in the other Manson movie. But if you compare the actor, for instance, Jake Gyllenhaal, now in a new show based on this movie, he does a much better and fiery act as a guy that keeps on losing it, trying to hold his family together, whereas there's very much less heat in the act from Harrison Ford there, where perhaps is casted to be a lot calmer despite being charged with murder. Anyways, even if he was casted to be calmer, I miss fire in this act from Mr. Ford himself. One other reason why this is Harrison Ford's second worst movie role comes down to the fact that he is outclassed by the other actors. For example, by Raul Julia, the defendant of Rusty in this movie that does a much better and intense performance, from Brian Denny that does a very entertaining and impressive act as Raymond Horgan in a movie that can at times be a bit of a slow burn. Even the wife, Barbara Savage, played by Bunny Bedelia, does a fine act here, where you feel Harrison Ford just falls through the cracks in a movie where his heart and soul is someplace else. What I also will add here, as I'm not 100% pleased with the show either, but on a base level, it gets more heated between Barbara and Savage in the show, and that's something you miss in the movie, where Barbara even knows from the beginning that he cheated on her, but she just does not act on it in the same way. Perhaps it was, of course, to keep a tight seal on a real truth that is revealed in the end, that she actually killed Polemus, which is more realistic than what happened in the show. But nonetheless, you miss the heat. And that is also a lot down to the lethargic act from Harrison Ford himself. I think also you have seen Harrison Ford way angrier in The Fugitive or as Han Solo in the Star Wars movies. The reason I'm using those examples is because he should act in a different way here. If you take the right kind of context in The Fugitive, where he also is accused of a crime he did not commit, here is a man getting chased. The act is much fierier, he is much more committed to the project, and it is an enjoyable act to watch. While in this movie, it is sad to see him act so lethargic. Like the show, this movie also has a certain problem with the flashback scenes, which are perhaps not as prevalent as in the show, given that we have just 2 hours to entertain her. But more than most, in the storytelling, I also believe Harrison Ford does not give his usual self, because I've seen him so much better in other movies, and I also think that's one of the reasons that the show does it better than the movie, because like I see, Jake Gyllenhaal has a lot more power in his act than the Rusty Sabich version that Harrison Ford plays. In the show, it becomes way more heated when Rusty tries to abstract evidence when he goes head to toe with Tommy Malto, and you just feel the heat all the way. Perhaps, of course, Harrison Ford is intended to be calmer, more professional, holding back his anger, but the closing Jake Gyllenhaal delivers is a much more powerful statement, and I don't think it helps the movie to say that we should have this calm and naive version of Rusty Sabich. That is not a loose cannon like in a show. But I guess that's just another reason why this is Harrison Ford's second worst movie role. And for me, the movie itself, I land firmly at a 5 out of 10 because it is too boring in a lot of the moments.